Hello, I'm Stephen Monkey Mason and welcome to the live podcast for Mindhunters, and I'm pressing play now. Right, okay, so Mindhunters. I'm shocked by this, and I discovered this years ago. The copy I've got is an X rental, and it's one of those cosmic red ones, like Anaconda's is as well. And tell you why I'm shocked by this. This recently survived my little cut down when it comes to DVDs. I've got a lot of DVDs from the old house. I've all been put in boxes and put in the attic at the moment. But I've kept certain ones down, ones I want to revisit and watch, ones I would probably enjoy watching with Brittany, or ones that I'd probably interested in visiting them as a podcast. Now, I say I'm shocked by this because I watched this the other night with Britt, and Britt was well into it. Well into it. And I was shocked when it finished to find out that it had an audio commentary on it, and Renny Howlin, I think he's absolutely class as a director, and I think he's very interesting as a commentary. He's done commentary for Cliffhanger and Deep Blue Sea, and he's just class on this. And again, today I've literally watched all the extra features as I'm getting ready. I'm multitasking as normal. I'm getting ready to do the podcast with Batman and Robin tomorrow with the guys, so this is one of my throwaway podcasts, but I can't recommend this film enough to anyone. It's a director of Cliffhanger. What a cast. Obviously there's a Netflix show now called Mindhunters. It's got nothing to do with that. The DVD, the front cover is weird. First off, LL Cool J is in this, who obviously is in Deep Blue Sea along with Renny. Credit is Todd James Smith. Obviously, was he wanting to drop the LA Cool J kind of thing? This is obviously just before NCSI kicked up. The artwork, obviously Christian Slater is in this, Val Kilmer's this, and Johnny Lee Miller, who potentially is one of the main stars in this, is not even on the front cover. And Johnny Lee, especially getting brought out in England. Now, I say this why I'm shocked about Renny Howlin and his commentary track are two things. One, this is a rental copy, like a fucking rental copy, and two, his comedy tracks recorded 2 years after the film was made. So it's kind of like it struggled. I don't know why. It's really well made. It's all meant to be shot in, like Vancouver and all that. Not Vancouver, that's Vancouver, down by Washington. It's meant to be FBI's, and it's all shot in Holland. Like literally, it's all been shot in Holland. They've literally just took over and claimed the tax write-offs, I think. But yeah, as I say, I love this film. I've watched it quite a few times over the years. It's Christian Slater, hence why I would have picked it up. It reunites Christian Slater and Val Kilmer from True Romance as well as Hard Cash. I was convinced there's an actor standing right there on the right. There is somebody standing in the fucking right corner. Clear as day. Is that the person? If it's not the person. And there's a lot. We're doing a lot of psychological twists in this. Yeah, as I say, he kind of like when he's doing the comedy track, he's often talking. I can't believe this is a random person standing in the woods there. It's probably going to be like a crossover. Like, massive fan of the X-Files. I am. Hence why this is, that whole psychological thing and the profiling, and like. Again, that's what Mulder's doing, he's a profiler. Dana Scully is actually, she's the more, that totally looks like someone out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but again, it was found on the outskirts of Holland. Obviously Holland doesn't really have a coast because it's all a man-made land, really, when obviously they made a dam and actually claimed the land. Christian Slater there nodding. The reason why Christian Slater's nodding there is just to put them little bobbleheaders in, because one of them is a like reference to the director, who's a big fan of hockey. Again, it's dead creepy. He's a great director. Recently, he popped up in the Aliens 3 documentary. He was meant to originally direct Aliens 3, and he directed Die Hard 2. He's done quite a lot. I'm sure he's from Finland. He's from Finland, yeah. And he's done really well for himself, but there's been a few films he struggled to get off the ground, and I think this is like, as I say, this was just one that came out, and for it not to be marketed by like any kind of that, I've really shot myself in the foot and actually left the DVD in the other room. I actually lent this out to a friend who, it's a funny story about this actually. I lent it to a friend who's called John, who had told me for years and years and years that Pump Up the Volume had been released on DVD, and I was like, fuck right off, no it hasn't. And it had, and like, credit was credit's due, right? I lent him this, and he then moved stores, and he moved down south, and for years I was like, are you going to give us my fucking DVD back? He's like, you fucking have. I was like, you fucking haven't. And the other friend, Mick, it sent it internally to the shop, and Mick had just put it in my locker, and I was just like, well, is anyone going to tell me that? I'd never go in my locker at work. It'd been buried in the back of my locker for fucking ages. I don't know if you went back to the Christian State, the good, the bad, and what the fucks. It's probably still got its sticker on there when it's been de-stickered. Quite a short role for Christian Slater. He comes in, obviously Rennie does the same kind of thing he does with Samuel Jackson in Deep Blue Sea. While he's just setting it up really, that Christian Slater would be the first to go. And again, it sets it off edge. Like, again, he does talk about this in the commentary, how you're trying to, like, this is more and more getting to a bit of a ruse that it is a FBI training facility, and everything isn't, you know what I mean, it's just set as a movie. But then for the rest of the movie, like, who do you trust? And he doesn't want to cheat the audiences. He always talks about how, like, if the guy was going to be able to kill people in this way, that he's going to be able to do it in the right time passes, and you know what I mean. He's very critical about not cheaping the audience, which is really cool. Again, as well, it's not you try to take in what's going on. I mean, now when you look, you go, all right, that could be a mannequin, but again, it's a really convincing mannequin. And it's like, welcome to the House of Wax. She went on to be almost an unknown when she was cast in this, Catherine somebody, but she went on to be in Cold Case. Again, at this time, Christian Slater, he jumped around Europe a lot, doing films like Sophia, and you know, he was willing to work. But when you get actors like that who are willing to come to Europe, and you know, they get a good paycheck, and like, again, when you get away from Hollywood, and you know, if you hire an actor and you're a backable star, you're going to get your paycheck, and you're going to go over there, and you're going to, like, you know, if you go to work, you're going to work. And like, tell you something about Rennie when he's talking about this. He's on about the director of photography, and he's on about Val Kilmer. And I think Val Kilmer gets a bad rep, especially if you've seen the Doom Journey of Richard Stanley, and just the whole "I'm Batman, I'll burn your ear," and how evil Val Kilmer wants to be. And Rennie's talking about it on there, and he says, you know, Val Kilmer was lovely. And I was like, well, you know what I mean, he's going to hire to work, he's probably seen his competences, but he's on about the director of photography as well, and like, you know, like, he's willing to give people a second chance, and he's not willing to listen to the system, or like, oh, don't work with that person or the way it is. And it's pretty cool that he's like that. And that's it. I mean, it's someone I would actually really want to meet and really want to work with. You know what I mean? I would take a fucking unpaid fucking just apprenticeship job and some of that, you know what I mean? Just to, because he just seems to command the set really well, and seems to be like getting stuff on the go. Yeah, as the FBI comes in, changing the tapes. Quite a big setup, like. You wouldn't really take the mannequins, would you? You would just use that as a local setup, wouldn't you? But yeah, Val Kilmer. I always found it funny how Val Kilmer always got his name on True Romance posters and all that, and he's like, you know what I mean? He's, unless, like, a lot of people like, he's not in the fucking film, he's fucking Elvis. It's just one of those things, like. Quite a short film, this. Was shot all on film, but then digitally coloured as well. It was all edited in London, filmed in Holland. To save production costs as well, they pretty much set up a next room of about 10 people were max, and created their own little special effects department with green screens. Rather than go to a big house, they just sort of hired you know, like a little project team, like an intern team to do it all, and for what it is, like snow effects and sparkles, you know. But a lot of it's to do with, obviously, again, going back to Amsterdam, not really having a coastline. And obviously it's meant to be set in the Washington area, and they've sort of composed the island, you know, there isn't an island, they've made the island digitally. Quantico. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Some nice builds in Europe, like. Again, Holland, I haven't really heard much of Holland, because I think there's a few scenes set in this building. So some of the other actors are familiar, and one of the actors I want to talk about is a guy in the wheelchair that I've purposely waited until I've got this podcast rocking and rolling to actually delve into it, if it's the same guy from 187, because I was fucking convinced it is. And I'm talking about the guy who was also in Fortress. And I need to look now, because when Rennie mentioned his name on the commentary, I said, that's not his name. I'm sure his name in 187 is Gomez. So I want to have a look. Mindhunters. Oh, I've just moved my phone. Oh, Mr. Jack is asking what I'm up to. I see there's a TV show called Mindhunters. So it was 2004 this was made. Sorry, it's not the right reply. What the fuck, I've lost IMDb. Right, so we get to a bar scene anyway, so we just started getting all the cast together. There's a few famous people in this shot. If you're from Europe, especially the gay guy at the bar is played by a very famous Dutch actor who did this kind of as a joke. Gets a very high score on IMDb. Taglines while I'm here: for 7 elite profilers finding a serial killer, progress of elimination of their own. Right, it's that Cliff and Jones I'm on about. Hang on, where Val Kilmer. Clifton Collins Jr. It's definitely him from fucking 126 fucking actings. Jesus, I just want to know it's the guy from Fortress and the guy from 187. So before Mindhunters, Last Chance, Traffic, Tigerland. Come on, 1998. So it is the guy from... Oh, there. Right, so I am right. I'm not going batshit crazy. So he was in 187, and he was... Is he in Fortress? So he was in Fortress, and he was in 187. And he was credited as Clifton Gauthiers. So obviously he's went and changed his name to Clifton Collins Jr. So it's quite uncommon for an established actor to shift gears. So it totally baffled us when he started talking about it. Now Elston Bailey, Ray Donovan, Band of Brothers, Fight Club. He's got very familiar eyes. Now it's shouting out. Mr. Jack's asking what podcast. We were meant to be doing Batman and Robin, but I'm just doing Mindhunters. Sorry. Yeah, so again, Johnny Lee Miller, I think was class. I think he's absolutely amazing in Trainspotting, and I was talking about this, obviously hackers and stuff like that. He is one of like England's biggest exports. We don't have that many actors who like have a big export. Even though I'm talking about Robert Carlyle, he's done quite well. Ewan McGregor would be at the top there. Again, all 3 fucking Trainspotting, all 4 members of Trainspotting have done really well for themselves. But stuff like Danny Dyer, you know, Danny Dyer is, I mean, he's very smart, Danny Dyer, because he sort of went into EastEnders and stayed in an established role as an actor and stuff like that. But like a lot of actors are fucking so big, and they're on so many fucking different movies and that, but they're all Europe based and they're hit for a UK market. Johnny Lee Miller's one of the people who's went on to have like a TV show in America, and even he's challenging this because he's obviously using his own, he's having to use a southern accent as well. So, but Johnny Lee Miller, LL Cool J, Val Kilmer, Christian Slater. You know what I mean? It's a big established cast. The actor as well. It's his first role. He was a ballet dancer. Again, Rennie was always like, oh, he's pretty cool. Give him a shot. You wanted to be doing that. It's a big fucking helicopter. You see him? About 5 people sitting in a row. Again, the way you do it, Christian and Val Kilmer would have been very close to schedules. Both of them are quite short roles. And that scene there is probably one, like, you know, this collaboration, this will probably be 2 weeks solid when you've got them all together. Oh, them helicopter pilots are a bit. Again, this is all creation. Look at me, fucking hell. Island. I mean, you can tell now, it's just, the building's real, and again, using the production wisely, they took over the building for the outside, but also used a lot of the interior sets inside as well. Training facilities, as they say, that they struck lucky as well, because the fake town they've got as well, which I do quite find creepy. You wouldn't find anything like that in Britain. Britain is just built on top of that, and if it's not like farmland, the government, it's just, you know what I mean, fields. But like, as soon as something's fucking derelict now, it's torn out, a fucking housing development built on it. To find that there's a whole fucking town just deserted. And this is probably the same fucking town as Expendables. What they use in that. Oh yeah. Just gonna make sure where I'm at on this. 6. June. We need June. Oh, buskers. I love filming buskers, but the files are huge. Yeah, Val Kilmer has had a fall from grace, I think, especially a lot of the pictures that circle around him. I mean, his involvement in Top Gun, but his level of work went right down the pan, I think. I mean, again, Tony Scott, you know, he had some great supporting roles in Deja Vu and all that, and these actors, you know what I mean, it's like, if you're a fan and you follow them, like, you've got to realise, you know, like, Hollywood doesn't come calling all the time, and when it does, you know, you've got to be there and ready. You'll probably take the roles, but like, you go to Europe and you work on these movies, and as long as you choose scripts wisely, and you know, you get like an average wage. I mean, I'm talking, like, when I say average, you're talking 200-300 grand, all expenses paid, everything. Do you know what I mean? And that's normally that's the price you pay with that production. You know what I mean? But like, you get in there and you can go from one film to another film, and again, you just got to choose wisely. You know. Really nice, this big set used throughout the film. This is really well edited. Rennie also, you know what I mean? I mean, it's mental to think that, obviously pushing towards the time that this film, he was doing the comedy 2 years later, but like, the idea that they were having problems with editing, so he hired his original editor that he'd worked with in the 80s films, and he added 2 people on, and then got someone to score it he had worked with in the past as well. Thrown out chances left, right and centre. So again, he looks like somebody who's like willing to, like, you know, if you work hard, he doesn't necessarily want the person who's the super qualified and all that. He wants people who like want an opportunity and are willing to go above and beyond. And like, again, his comedies are really, really good, really good. I still think it's so funny on the comedy for Deep Blue Sea, where Samuel Jackson leaves and where are you going? Well, I'm dead now, I don't need me around. And he's just so unprepared to do this comedy on his own, bless him. Fucking Rubik's Cubes. Again, it's loads of really cool editing, filming. These little bits, do you know what I mean? All how it makes the cut go down. Very much like Mark McQueen. The guy just walked in the room. I think it might be that accent, and it's just the mannerisms, I think. The whole profile thing, that though. But Rennie in the commentary, he's on about he didn't give a fuck in the commentary actually, because he's on about like how his house was getting burgled and his dog woke him up, and you know like the police were called and all that, and no one was hurt and all that. And he was on about how like he knows firsthand that the FBI and all that do have systems for fingerprinting. I mean, don't get us wrong, this was 2004. This is only 20 years ago now, so. But he's on about the comedy guns. Oh yeah, like you've got your fingerprints and all that. And the guy turned around and says, "We can't fucking do that." And says we can match them at best. But he's just like, he was totally shocked, and he was just like, it's not like it is in the movies. Profiling, you know, it's a bigger thing because like you can't catch everyone with fingerprints, and of course everyone's that's why everyone's just like, oh, don't put your fingerprints in your phone and all that. I actually can't use fingerprint phone unlocking on my phone because I suffer from like really dry skin. Honestly, man, I locked myself out my phone twice, unauthorized access. But yeah, he's on about how like the guy who's like, you got his fingerprints, he's like, and is he not put them in the system? He's like, well, maybe the FBI could, but you know what I mean, it makes mistakes. And he's very honest about like this incident in his life, how he's just like, yeah, totally reminds you of Deep Blue Sea, that set. Like the whole like out there, it's very similar. Obviously the snow. I mean, the snow's done really well, although that'll be digital and all that kind of stuff. It's just the colour. The fucking hey duck, fucking FBI duck's quite funny as well. I really like Johnny Lee Miller. We had actually just watched Dark Shadows as well. He seemed to work solid in the Marathon Elementary. But again, he's credited on the front of the box, but he's not there. But then there's a shadow in the background, and you could go, right, well, that's him. So it's kind of like a fucking psychological mindfuck of a front cover as well. For the time though as well, like again though, when talking about like these actors who may float around Europe and work from one film to another and another film, and like they might work on, and then they might go back the next summer and do 2 films, and then the next year, Sod's Law, like 4 of their films might come out together. And it might take like someone to buy them, one of them's a right stinker, and then you get the other one and it was fucking class. You know what I mean? But again, you know, because if you're going to get actors like Christian Slater, you're going to put his name on the box. You get it on the shelf, you know, you want people to see it, and that's sometimes what they expect to ride on. Oh, there, and it must be good. But then work dries up, you know what I mean? But every single person in this film delivers. Like, even Val Kilmer's on form, and like this film doesn't even have a Blu-ray release. It needs a Blu-ray release. It's got some really nice extra features and like a nice psychological thriller. And at time as well, it was pushed to be more like gorified. Rennie didn't exactly want loads of blood and gore in it, and they toned it down, but they were never going to get the lower rating, so they just turned it up a bit, and it falls into that character there, the gore porn as they were calling it. I mean, if I was turning anything up, this sex scene would have been a bit, because she's quite desirable, like. He's called JD as well. Obviously he was called JD in Heathers. No. A little bit of nudity there. Oh, I love getting a shower like that. Again, it's all those little things, these little tweaks and tweaks. Fucking guy hit that fucking right on the limb, the captain. He's a belly dancer. Just psychologically shown, like, I mean, some of the elements here, he's a fixer kind of guy. There's just loads of little bits and bobs, like. There's the cat. And here as well, the cat going past. And like the cat annoys Johnny Lee Miller a little bit. So he's like sick of the cats. He's not afraid of a fucking cat's head off. Fucking Cat Island, they should have called it. There's fucking cats everywhere. Cool J. My first exposure with LL Cool J was Toys, when he's hiding in the couches and stuff like that. It's fucking mental. That for. Yeah, small town, creepy town. Again, totally looks like the set from it could be the floating Alcatraz there of Deep Blue Sea, that's for sure. There you go. Dun dun dun. Fucking jump scare. It's fucking grim, that. Super grim. It brings everyone together. I fucking can't. Fucking bizarre. Fucking grim. I actually still got the commentary track on. You can actually still hear it briefly in the background as they fucking pull the watch out of the cat's mouth. That's minging. The saliva sells it. It's fucking rank. Like, what the fuck? I think Christian Slater's still like analysing it. Love that transition. Like slow transition from left to right. It's the camera panning across to them. I love that. It's really good. Obviously, just a fake town. I don't know if it's done for training. There's more cats. CCTV. Welcome to the diner. Fucking Twin Peaks. I'm not going to lie to you on a podcast, like, I've really started to struggle with Twin Peaks. I think I've got 2 discs left, and it's just like, but it just went bizarre. He got big blue eyes, ain't he? The creepy ass Madigan town. But say the director's on about how he cameos later on as the guy in the phone box, so there is a few real people hidden in them. Oh, that's minging. It's fucking minging. Maggots. It's just lush in it, like really. Cigarette brands as well. Established early on. I don't think anyone like really delivers it. Like, I think everyone delivers it. Sorry. Again, there the subtle thing about the mannequin just looking through the window, but then the speed in there, and the choice to take off. You don't even see his head turn. It's almost like it's a different take. But again, it's just, I think, really well edited. And again, you got a lot of coverage to do with all these people, you know what I mean? You got, until you start whittling them down, you got a lot of people to cover in the scene. They all need to be there because they're all involved in it. It's just a body hanger, yeah. But this totally catches a lot of people off guard. I mean, I was watching it with Britt, and Britt was like, Christian Slater's not going to die. Oh my god, like, yeah, he's dead. And I remember that, you know what I mean? But again, at that point, when you've got with and I think it's with Val Kilmer and Christian Slater. You just know that, like, they're in it, but they're not going to be in it. Either they turn up later on in the film, or they're at the start and they're going to be the first to die. Yeah, I feel really guilty, my bin got emptied today. It was meant to get emptied a week ago. They missed the entire street, and only mine got emptied today because I complained. I was just like, what we're supposed to do? We're in fucking lockdown and in quarantine, and like, you're not emptying our bins. Lazy bin men. I just heard someone putting the bin out for tomorrow. I mean, why bother? Probably not empty that one either. I was half expecting Jack to land by now because Jack only lives across the hill. He's just messaged back saying Mindhunters. Mindhunters, Christian Slater movie. Good, if you've never seen it. That's my review. It's good. But yeah. Great effect here with the dominoes. Obviously, going into it, it's a pre-miniature. They used about a foot big dominoes for their effect. Not here, like, but there's some of the settings and all that, and the whole, setting it all up, and you're getting everyone's attention, how it's edited, and I mean, you're spending all that time and effort putting the dominoes up, and the audience is watching it. I mean, it's used in the Goonies, it's used in Back to the Future. You don't see it that often enough. I think one of the last times I'd actually seen it was in The Waiting, at the very end of the movie. There's a big thing like this at the end, just for the shits and giggles, like. Here comes the ball. Boink. And then comes the here. It says helium, but whoosh. God. It's fucking horrible, that. Fucking legs frozen to death. That'd be fucking horrible. I hate having cold feet. Then to fall back into it. I mean, ooh. Fucking spitting ice, and his eyes freeze over. At this point, Britt asked if he was dead. I was like, I'll give you 5 minutes to work that one out. Again, though, it's just like, oh, you weren't expecting that. But at this point, Johnny Lee Miller, LL Cool J, And then the whole traps things, slow motion, bit of a Michael Bay kind of element there, slow motion rain walking. It's fucking grim, that, like. There you go, JD resting. Aye. Got a fake phone. Again, the plot thickens. Who is who? LL Cool J has been really thrown into the mix. He hasn't been part of the profilers. I love that speed end. Like when it's really fast to get to a shot and all that, and it definitely only works with a bit of scoring. Can't just go whoosh. But yeah, it's you just see. Again, camera works mint there. Great camera angle. I think this was obviously the back of it's all painted in. Bless him. Shot in a little pond, a fishing pond, I think this is. A real ass explosion there. Boom. That's everyone in the water a bit. That hasn't aged very well. I mean, you go for that shot to show the faces and the explosions, and it's not. I would have took that frame out. And she's just fucking deadpanning the fucking. So, what about IMDb? Is they're all in the water. Trivia is what I wanted. Studio did not cast any character as a lead director or anyone. No dummy characters or obvious victims established to the sense that everyone could die at any moment in the film. Again, killing Christian Slater at the very start, great. Primary reason the film was able to be done on such a modest budget due to the gross tax break from the Dutch government. It cost 30 million. Val Kilmer's next role was the infamous porn legend John Hummus in Wonderland. In order to secure Val Kilmer's participation, he was allowed to grow out his hair during the film of this movie. Alright, so Ryan Phillippe, Reese Witherspoon, Christopher Walken, Martin Sheen and Gary Busey were originally offered roles. I think it works better with a younger cast. I'm saying Ryan Phillippe and Reese Witherspoon are, but there's just, it works. It's kind of like, it works with like a couple of unknown actors and a couple established. Um, Several variations of the album were filmed. Numerous test screenings were held in the United States in 2003. The final version of the film was determined on the theatrical feast. Dominoes used in the Dominoes close-ups were actually 10 times the actual size. Part of LL Cool J's preparation, he lost nearly £40 and spent time with homicide detectives. The cast met FBI personnel and underwent military training. Kristen Stewart's name is JP. There's a lot of spoilers in that. Fuck me, there's loads of spoilers. So there's a lot of people have reached out to this on IMDb. As I say, it is really worth checking out. The IMDb cover is fucking shit. Just an eye. Mindhunters. It's got LL Cool J. It's actually got James Todd Smith, aka LL Cool J, Johnny Lee Miller, Mindhunters. The UK one is LL Cool J, Val Kilmer, but it's not a UK, but it's a Blu-ray release. Yeah, it's sort of them facing off and then a shadow in the background. See, Johnny Lee Miller is high build, but he doesn't appear on the front cover. It's mental. Oh, the splinter he pulls out here. Ooh, get that out. Quite a good makeup effects, like. Again, these two look like the Bonding movies, like Johnny Lee Miller I think's got a lot to do with this. He's got to pull off the role of, psychopath, who basically, it's not like there's a backstory twist, is there? He just wants to kill everyone in his mind, this is his ultimate game, to kill the ultimate prey. He's like a predator. You know what I mean? There's no backstage motive. There's no love lost. There's no love triangle. LL Cool J has been chucked in it, and is he, isn't he? Then there's the countdown, people are watching the clock, how many traps is going to be, who's going to die. Eeny, miny, mo, motherfucker, as LL Cool J just said. And you think it's going to be, and this is the coffee blackout coming up. Who made the coffee? Oh, tension. Guns coming up. One's armed. Draw. Again, just cuts like that, coming in really close. Perfectly landed on the fucking desk there, didn't it? It froze it, just stuck like Spider-Man, chucked it there you go. It's not going anywhere. Mexican standoff. And then you just don't expect him, he just goes face down. I don't think LL Cool J sells it that well, actually, when I think about it. That little actor there sitting down, he's feeling it. He's just I just don't get that. Sorry, LL Cool J. He's just he's got this look, shuts his eyes and falls. It's Johnny Lee Miller sort of looks like he's rested on an invisible ball for a second before he nosedives. They went for that widescreen floating camera thing, dropping in the coffee, the camera's disorientated to them, but for LL Cool J just he's got that smirk look on his face. He's not even blinking or is there something wrong? He just shuts his eyes and goes bang. All these are Johnny Lee Miller's just proper just face plants the fucking floor. Bless him. There you go. Again, great film. Rennie also did that weird Dovel's Pass or whatever it was. I do own that, but I want to have a look at his IMDb. Because he's bound to have done some films that probably shock us. Great director though. Let's have a look. Rennie Harlin. Oh, he did Driven. Director. 39 movies. See, he's spent a lot of time, looks like, in China. Or doing stuff in his natural hometown. Lovalika Free, whatever that wants to be. Bodies at Rest, that's got No One You Know Of. No one I know anyway. It's a Chinese movie. So he did Legend of the Ancient Sword. Obviously he did Skip Trace, which was a massive flop, but it was big on Netflix. Jackie Chan, Johnny Knoxville, should have worked really well. He did Legend of Hercules along with Scott Adkins, isn't it? Yeah, I've got that. Legend of Hercules 3D. Devil's Pass, also known as Dovel's Pass Incidents. Cover Affairs. White Collar, Burn Notice, 5 Days of War. 12 Rounds with John Cena. The Covenant, The Cleaner. Sam Jackson film. It'd be worth watching that. He's reunited with Sam Jackson on that one. Sam Jackson, Eva Mendes, Ed Harris. Exorcist, The Beginning. Mindhunters. So before Mindhunters we've got Driven. Tracks. Deep Blue Sea. The Long Kiss Goodnight. I actually seen The Long Kiss Goodnight quite recently. That's a really good film. Cutthroat Island. Probably known for giving it a bit of a stick, that one. Mainly because it was a big flop. Cliffhanger, Adventures, Die Hard 2, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. Yeah, and then Prison. And I think I've got Prison in the other room, but it's not got that cover. Arctic Heat. So, yeah, quite a checkered career. He's had some big hits, but he's had some big flops, unfortunately. I mean, obviously Cutthroat Island, that was, you know what I mean, it was, they wanted to do Pirates of the Caribbean, but it wasn't the right time. I think he's a great director. I think this is a really underrated movie. But some of that's, you know, essentially not available if you were to buy it. Johnny Lee Miller. Time's passed anyway, setting him down. LL Cool J is handcuffed up. So setting up his climbing frame fiasco. I do think this bit gets a bit funny, but they reckon it could be done. Water going off, lighting rigs, sets off a chain reaction. So again, it's just a movie. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. You would get frustrated, like, wouldn't you? But he didn't really help himself. You know, he didn't really let on that much. I'm not going to forgive him for his fall. Time is ticking. It's that fall got me. He's got all black on, you know what I mean? Full on leather, long coat, and like skull cap, like rolled right up as well. And she works on the numbers. She sets off the numbers, and there's a little side plot story here about an island what just disappeared and stuff like that. And again, it's like, is he testing them? Is he like You know, he's got this thought about and stuff like that. Some very quick cuttings of time, you know what I mean? As I say, walk down the corridor, no, chop, 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 bang! She fucking kicks the cigarette machine. Blue tint. So again, there's a few locations reused. I mean, the stairs he's just gone up there, or the stairs he falls off later on. He is fantastic in that 187 movie. Are you done? Tattooed on his finger. Again, Rennie's probably seen Samuel Jackson 187 and seen him in that and remembered on that and remembers the guy who's the ballerina who'd never been in a movie before. As time flies by, fucking hell, that is a massive tin of corned beef. Again, the clicking of the clock, the banter. Realization. Time is up. Again, it's like, as I say, like they've took over the building and a lot of that's just been done for, like, to save tax and just like, again, going back to like Rennie, like really wanting to get Aliens done and what they were trying to do, and that overall when you first come into a production and you can see it from your experience, or like you want to get there, and it's a long ride. I think he worked on Alien 3 for a full year and he never made it, you know what I mean? But like, again, he had no hard feelings enough to come back to the documentary. I mean, the documentaries they do on all four of the original Aliens of the documentary, which you can only get on the black box edition, absolutely amazing documentaries. And you know, you just see how much goes into getting a movie made and like where you're going to film it. Well, again, it goes back to the script. Your script's your outline, but then you got sort of like where you're going to film it, what can you do, where can you film it, what country can do it, can you make it look like America, getting a digital house team. I mean, you might finally get all the bits of the puzzle, but then you can't get something to do the visual effects because they're all booked out because everyone's trying to get a summer release, or you know, a lot more films are relying on loads more CGI rather than just little paintbrush jobs. Do you know what I mean? Actors availability, you know, your finance, you might get a lead actor and he's the one who pushes the finance, and then you know, like there's flaws in your contracts and stuff like that, you lose your lead actor, you know what I mean? And like, it's especially if you've got like an ensemble cast, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of things to consider when making a movie. Again, locations, it's not like locations, you've got to look at caterings and where actors are going to stay, scheduling, conflicts. I mean, you're never going to film a film in correct order, are you? Very few films are made like that. Again, with a film like this, you would have Christian Slater and Val Kilmer. I would say Christian Slater for maybe 3 weeks, a month max, 3 weeks. Val Kilmer 2 weeks. There'll be a week where Christian Slater and Val Kilmer at the same point at the same time, and then they're gone. So by this point, they're gone. LL Cool J, you're going to have the next schedule. Everyone else, like Johnny Lee Miller and all that, will be there for the full duration. Do you know what I mean? I mean, once you're dead in the movie, you're dead. But like, again, they might not have filmed the scenes. I think the earlier scenes with Val Kilmer is doing the whole big speech in the university. He's just in front of a blue screen because they hadn't filmed the earlier scenes. So it looks like, you know what I mean. It all depends. Fucking hell. The cliffhanger. Suspenseful. I mean, this bit is a bit of a. I mean, could he have set that trap, and would that trap would have worked? And you know, he shoots the holes in and goes along and upside down. It's like, it's the kind of part of the movie where you go, really? There's a side of me going, isn't most of his wheelchair rubber? But, oh, the movie. Holding on, man. Just the catch as well. The whole it just gets a little bit too cheesy here. Bang, off goes the handcuffs. Take all his clothes off. He's built like he's fucking chiseled. I mean, I'm not saying that he couldn't fucking gorilla climb over there and round a door. Holes in the wall. Again, going back to how well it's edited, you hadn't seen it, you don't know what he's going to do, and it's dead suspenseful. And again, they're very early of the Saw franchise, and you know, the tension. Just punch his hole. Tell you what, like when I first moved to my new house and this fucking made with coal behind the walls, fucking grim, so grim. Look at him, dent, 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 dent. Like run, everyone's just like sparkle. That's what I think he's on about here when he's on about the digital team next door. Let's get some more sparkles on the go. He's knocking on the door. More sparkles, please. Well, I mean, people like, no. Starting a fire extinguisher that would come off them things that bolt at the door. You don't realise how heavy a fire extinguisher is if you don't pick one up. Cut the power, baby. Look at the voice sample. There's them stairs again. Again, though, he gets into the next room and then he goes on here, then he goes upside down. I mean, it is a trap to kill everyone off, like, but he did it just in time. Saved him. Dun dun dun. You would fucking really fucking give yourself 5 minutes for that, wouldn't you? Quite a cool set though, with raining down. Oh, cool J now. These guys are down. So much light on him. You will believe what he said. And there you go. And then you get the shock death. You get the guy, he's just like talking and everyone's just like, oh, is he dropping himself in? And oh yeah, right. Fucking harpooned in the face. But see, like earlier on, you see that the fact that when the guy goes, these fucking Navy people don't fuck around, you see the harpoons. Oh yeah, right. It's fucking brutal, that. It's the one in their throat. It's just like, Jesus. It's even though the tricks of the trade though, like you put the box there and the box is there, just enough height, just the right height to get up on the cut and get the barrier. And he didn't even think about that, you know what I mean? So you'd be right height to get them. You could throw the red hair, like kills the killer by mistake. Who did it? No idea. At this point, I think you are thinking it's Johnny Lee Miller, unless Clifton Jr. is going to stand up at some point and just be like, ha! But at this point here, obviously, they start throwing the idea that Val Kilmer still could be running around, you know what I mean? So... everyone's starting to have a mental breakdown. We're over halfway through this movie now. We'll get the next trap set up. They'll get conspiracies. But they do the blood transfusion, aren't they? What is the trap? What time is it? Oh, he's the crack about the town, the name. Again, was a bit of history in there that you didn't know. Again, could be an origins of a story. You read about it all. There's an island. Everyone just disappeared. 500 years later, still don't know what happened to them. Right, we'll make a movie about that. And then someone goes, well... Of course, one of them's a history buff, so... He lays it down thick. There's fingerprints in the background and stuff like that. So they've got the lab and all that there, what they need. There he is, there's my friend in his car. Vroom. Off to Deal Summit. Vroom. Brilliant. His timing's impeccable. Every time I do a video, I haven't heard him all day. Now he is. It's just gone 7:30 like. I'm not even sure the runtime of this movie because I left the box in the other room. Podcast tomorrow with the guys of Batman and Robin. Big Dave is enjoying being part of the crew. I've been trying to get Paul and Carla to do Biodome for days. And I was like, we need to do it while we're in isolation. And they're all like, wow. And I'm like, we do? Oh, do, do, do. And the montage. Montage. And then it comes in there. I love that shot though, behind the clock and the ticking, it's just class. And again, setting up a plot device and everyone's just like, nah, and she's got the broke down roll and stuff like that, and there's a twist and it doesn't hold back to the end, and it's pretty cool when it does. Bloop. Blood in there. DNA sequence. It doesn't... It takes ages to sort DNA out, doesn't it? It's a nice montage though of all the equipment and like making it movie style and the drifting. It's again, it's showing them that they would know how to do this kind of thing, and the profiles, especially like in the training and stuff like that, because like they would have some kind of like everyone would have some specialised field going in the FBI. Everyone's not going to have the same mathematics qualifications. I love that flickering on the time, the clock as well. But you just never know, like. He gets fucking angry. Finished. Everyone's got to put the guns on the table. I love it how he just chucks him off. Like, give me your gun. And he goes fucking flying. Put your gun on the table. See, even there, it just cut to a completely different take. Obviously, you notice it more there, but like he was going back, then his facial expression just quickly changed like that, and you think, what the fuck? That was really creepy. I think she's totally shocked. I mean, that bit there, man, that total, like, smashing the head off there, I mean, I would have a little bit of blood in that. Just the whole, like, she's fucking pissed off. Smacking someone's hair. Look at that, I mean, he lays it on proper thick. I mean, even there, though, he has his moment to go, like, how sadistic he wants to be. He knows the profile, he's been mind-fucking everyone. Is is it out the question that people might think all of a sudden he's just going to stand out his chair and go, I can walk. Do you know what I mean? And, like, because the fact that he knows what happened to her and what's made her that way, and she has some trauma from her past. But it's fucking brutal, like. Just fucking really lays it thick down on it. Look at that. What is the trap? Where is the trap? What is the trap? Where is the trap? He does that. I mean, like, he must have got hired off NCSI just for that. What is the trap? Where is the trap? What is the trap? Where is the trap? Just a massive. It's no Predator backhand, but it's a backhand and a half, like. I love it when you get grief on YouTube when someone can't spell. It's just like if you're going to sit there and try and put someone witty like no interest channel, can you at least spell interest and channel right? Fucking idiot. Oh, they're just like people like again. I think YouTube needs to change, because anyone can sign up to YouTube and anyone can give you a dislike, or like suddenly like being stuck in the house go, right, tonight you're going to get this shit. And you're like, nah. Like, then the golden rule is if you don't have any videos on YouTube yourself, don't comment on someone else's. On a create, on like, just, you know what I mean? A creator style of it, but no, fucking Twitter. Look at that, man, the gun's just right in there. I mean, it's out of focus. Like, right in the camera lens, though. Some really interesting shots on this. What is the trap? Where's the trap? What is the trap? Where's the trap? I could have maybe a little bit shorter, but it's all about like building up tension and scene, and here comes the cigarettes on a timer. Some fucking cat. And there, desperate for a cigarette. Fucking brutal death. One of the worst deaths. There you go. Close over to her. Where she got the lighter from, you know what I mean? But there we go. It's fucking, honestly, it's instant. It's like when you fucking get a new batch of weed for the first time and you don't know if it's going to be any good and you're like, It's fucking horrible. I think it makes matters worse, she sucks a finger and stuff like that. It's like, ugh. I once got that trick played on us, you know, when someone puts it, you can put a banger, you know, you put the bangers in people's cigarettes and stuff like that when I used to smoke. It getting done to me, but it didn't, like, it put it far too down. So for ages, like, I was ill for days after it. I mean, it popped eventually, but like, because it was too far down, it was all going that, it was minging like. It floats down to a death as well. So we're down to 4. Again, people thinking he's going to stand out of his wheelchair. Is it Johnny Lee or LL Cool J? Look at that, man, the camera's just constantly moving. Tick tock, tick tock. There you go. Got a bit of a crush on her there. But here's the red herring that Val Kilmer's still alive. I think he is called Harris, like. And they go looking for him. And it actually leads him. Probably one of the biggest jump scares in the movie as well. When she goes, he's got 3 watches, and he starts fucking weird puppeteering. It's just like, what the fuck, it's gonna be a shit. Again, look at this camera, man. It's constantly spinning. You know, it's not one lockdown shot. It's constantly moving. That whole paranoia, it's just everything's in a spin. Great shot though, that coming out. Very claustrophobic him here. Having to skim his way back. He remembers the other gun, gets himself locked in the fridge though. Again, his flaw is he's always going for his gun, so his downfall, like, has to be his gun though, his trusted gun. Boom. Shows how resourceful he is though, because he managed to get himself out. That's the director there, just on the left. And the phone box, very quick, very like Hitchcocky kind of cameo there. You just seen him. Wasn't it Madigan, just hidden in the movie. He normally likes to hide a Finnish flag as well, but yeah, that was his one little cameo. Again, lady from the start. And then just so happens there's a trap door. Dun, dun, dun. There you go, Val Kilmer's last will and testimony. You're beaten to death. I mean, there's not even like a backstory that he's pissed at him and he's decided to kill him. He's just generally wanted to just kill people, and this is like, he's bored. He tells a backstory of like when he killed his family and like no one questioned him at all. He got away with it, so he just, it's terrible makeup effect on Val Kilmer's face. Like, it just looks eerie as shit. But like, that's his motive. Like, this is like, he's bored. He's like, he's killing people and no one's catching him, so he thinks that he could just take the piss at the FBI and creates this mental elaborate plan. But there you go, it's just a movie. A fucking horrible lad, fucking pulling his face left, right and centre and shit. blows the fuck out of it. The ads as well, they couldn't get the copyright for any fucking child song he wanted. Everything they went to, they're like, nah, either it's associated with someone else or just the fact that this is a serial killer music. Nah, so had to create their own child jingle just for this thing. I do my research on these podcasts, you know. And all the lights go out, boom. It's pretty good action scene there because I know everything comes alive and it's the paranoia and fucking mannequins get their heads blown off left, right and centre and like who's it going to be and who's firing at who and you know, it's like stop shooting, like nah. Just smashed in the face and all kinds of stuff, man. There you go, rolling car. Big jump. So then the red heron there, she thinks she's going to get on there, and as well here, he just runs into it, and like the way it's cut, he gets blasted. She sees that he's being shot, but then LL Cool J kind of like comes into shot, and he thinks he's shot her, and he's shot the. It's very cleverly done. No one shot him. It's more, oh, did he get shot, or LL Cool J shot him? He's wearing a bulletproof vest. I thought he walked into a trap as well. And this scene kind of backfired. Really nice shot though, well lit behind him. At this point there was LL Cool J, the body. So now that shot there is mint. That's absolutely mint, that shot. And you think she's going to go in the trap door and... There you go, creeping. At this point he's talking about how he hired a little assistant producer or an assistant and ended up becoming like, again, giving someone an opportunity, even at like assistant role, and ended up being one of his producers. There's a good rant here. See here as well, you think it's got to be one of them. But now she's already off. She's already out of there. She's seen license to drive, vaulted out the back of the door. Another bluish tone, like. Slow motion, water running. Dun dun dun. Again, is LL Cool J the body? Is LL Cool J the one kicked it up? And meanwhile, he's still alive. And if he's, again, at this point you kind of think he's not going to just stand up off the wheelchair. He's kind of like, you know what I mean, he wouldn't, he's got himself trapped in a freezer, bless him, he cannot walk. So he's not going to be like the super serial killer playing this. He's not doing the whole jigsaw lying down in the middle of the room for a fucking bird's eye view. Dun, 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 dun. Peeking the gun around. Yeah, that's him trying to get away in the elevator. Well, nearly got a month backed up in this podcast. Month podcast. A movie, a podcast as well. Oh, you know what I mean. Month for podcast. Dun dun dun. As well, there's a scene before I kind of missed because I had my head turned, but there's one clever thing I probably would have done. There's a scene where it's a point of view and he walks in and he sees the the wheelchair emptied and stuff like that, and like the reflection should have been Johnny Lee Miller very subtly, because I even paused it and went by frame. That'll be interesting. And then he's just a great like death really in it. Fucking gun just exploding in your face. Just fucking me, man. It's brutal. And you see the lift going back up. And again, at this point, you're like, who the fuck could it be? Who could it be? Who is it? Because everyone else has like been totally killed on camera. I mean, he's had his face exploded. The girl before, she's not going to be faking that. You could see her lungs bleeding out through her fucking chest. Do you know what I mean? Fucking grim, that man. Absolute grim. Gun. The clock. Back to the clock trick. There we go. Boom. At this point you think, yeah, it's LL Cool J. He's totally gone rogue. Pretty good fight scene. All LL Cool J and Johnny Lee Miller. As I say, there's a little really good documentary on their DVD about these two. Really like worked at it, and they both totally went for it, like, so fair play to both of them, like. There you go. He plays, he's got that look about him. Smoke. They're going to play with his eyes. Little cat and mouse kind of thing. Again, he's putting on the like big cheesy smiles and all that kind of thing, and like he's playing off if he's the bad guy, and like I don't rate him on that bit. Because if it was him, he would go, has she done it? Really? Has she done it? Boom! It's fucking brutal, that, man. But again, first time viewing, you probably think he is the baddie, and like at the end of the day, oh yeah, LL Cool J is the baddie in this. Boosh. There we go. Some hard stunts coming here. Even LL Cool J goes for this weird fucking jump up knee when he's on the floor. Fairly going for it, like. There, that. Just jumps up for some reason. I don't know, that's one bit I just don't understand. Mint drop toe hold there across the tables, both dodging the tables. Guns don't work. And fucking Superman dives on top of him. Fucking punch to the face. I fight up, don't they? There you go. Fucking death by fucking fire extinguisher here. Fucking chucks the fire extinguisher on that fucking neck. There's a classic forward roll here. Probably famous for, there you go. Proper judo roll over the top. Bang. Sunset flips him out there, kicks him across, and he goes off the stairs in a second. Both of them go together. There you go. Go heave ho. Down they go. Through the glass. That definitely would have been the stunt guys, like, to be honest with you, but there we go. And there we go, landed on the stairs. It's a good fight. I mean, it needs to end where it ends. I think there's too many angles on that fall. Less is more, I think, with that fall. I would have said some more crunch and impact. Oh, it's such a good movie, man. And he helps him up, so she's made her mind up, he's saved her. I mean, at this point, you're obviously expecting him to come back up, but it doesn't. He doesn't really appear to right to the end. You know, he took the bullets, unless he had a rigged gun that actually shot him and it was all planned. Again, he's meant to all do all this while under the influence of the coffee, and he so. So I'm going to get the twist. There you go. She's on about the clock being reversed, and he's kind of like subtly going psychological. But she hasn't clicked on it, Tim. She's just been smart enough to work on the session of time and stuff like that, but dun dun dun. Black light. Flashback. Subtle colours on the flashback. Tick tock, tick tock. Just caught the fan. And oh, it's not him. It's not him at all. And then the background glowing. There you go. Dun dun dun. It was him. At this point, he should change his accent. He should go back to being a full-on Scottish guy, like kicking off, and it's all been a ruse. He's just a psychopath. It's got all the see there. Full on this confession. It's no confession he's in dire love with all that. He just wanted to kill people, and he's bored of killing people and not being caught. And again, it goes on a record a lot of like the serial killers to get caught because like the high gets too hard to get to the climax. You know, like they can't wait enough time to tell, and like they're going about the Zodiac Killer, how the Zodiac Killer was never found, and like they made a movie out of him. You know what I mean? Imagine being the Zodiac Killer and going the pictures, going like, oh yeah, 30 years ago I killed loads of people, and you know what I mean. He probably just lives his life now, and you think, fucking hell, just crazy one, crazy. Again, keeping them in shadow. She's gonna have to run for her life. Confessing love. Run. She's terrified, like. Very subtly, like, got quite a smug look about him. Here we go, the Saw flashbacks. All the twists and turns you didn't see coming. I like flashbacks and stuff like that because I think that's what sold the very first Saw and all that. You know, your first movie, you didn't see that, but when you expect it coming, I don't know, it's just subtle things. But this is the footage you don't see. Like, he's got enough time to go around and set the traps, and I would have had him speaking his normal language. And a couple of flashbacks you didn't see, filling the little voids. But the game for him is being like to outsmart the profilers, even up to the top of Val Kilmer's character, you know what I mean? Just wasn't prepared for LL Cool J. I mean, what next if he didn't? Dun dun dun. She's terrified. Oof. I can't think of a worse job than being a stunt guy who falls downstairs for a living. Like, Christ, man. Like, it just doesn't seem like a safe thing to do. Like, turns on that little bit of a creepiness there. Again, just totally reminds you of Deep Blue Sea. The entrance. Dun dun dun. It's kind of drowned you. Again, that biggest fear, and he's doing it to her. Didn't she mule kick him though? I mean, she's pushed the image where she needs to fight back. Or she comes to it. We get the whole gun standoff. Oh, mule kick. Would a gun work that long in the water? Probably not. Underwater tank. My fucking face. Absolutely melted by acid. Brilliant. He's gonna make a getaway. There you go. I love the shooting in water and it's just dropping out of it, and then you can tell. Fuck you! Shoot a gun. Again, it's great. And then here the standoff. Very clever ending. Jump out first. Who's going to be the last one out? Fucking talk about Mexican standoff. I mean, it's just so like, so well done. With like, you know, you'd see that in another movie. God, like it's really hard to keep your eyes open underwater. I think like, boom, and you think that's it. He's been shot in the fucking throat. He's still going. See, he's still going in here and he confesses, you know, like, and then we get the reveal of LL Cool J, and there was an alternative ending. But for him to get shot off camera, and he must get shot in the top of the head, and then he just falls off. But then the turn's not right. Sorry, my phone's right next to the fucking camera. But yeah, it's, you know, it's not Cyrus the Virus death. Where when you're meant to go right, he is definitely fucking dead. LL Cool J is still alive. Boom. You know. That's just like where he's shot. You see the blood trickle down there his head. See, see, that's one thing I don't like. He sort of falls like over his shoulder and his backside, but when the camera flips, he's like full fucking face plant into the water, and just drifts down into the abyss. With blood dripping down. There's me mate back. Brum. I miss him, man. It's like a fucking tank. Wave them down. Wave them down. I think that's one of the beaches they could do it at. Right on the edge. Chopper comes down. Chop it short. Off and rocking, really. I'm going to give this 8 out of 10, to be honest with you. I do. It's just it's one of the ones that came along at the end of DVD rental. It's a shame that it hasn't seen the light of day. That's the sunset as the helicopter goes off. I really think it's been well directed. The comedy alone's class. As I say, I was a bit shocked to find out that the comedy track actually is 2 years later, and it's mental to think when it's a rental copy of a movie. It's a nice psychological mindfuck. It's weird that Johnny Lee Miller's not on the front and centre of the box, because it's LL Cool J, Johnny Lee Miller, Catherine, Val Kilmer and Christian Slater, and they're all on there except for Johnny Lee Miller. It's bloodlust. Maybe he could have done with being a bit more bloodlusty when they weren't going to get like the rating they wanted, and it's in the era of the Saw franchise. That's a Weinstein movie as well. Great movie. James Todd Smith, aka LL Cool J, so that's what he was rocking at the time. Johnny Lee Miller, Catherine Moses or Morris, Patricia Valquez, Clifton Collins Jr., not Gautiers, Island Bailey. But yeah, I really like this movie, and this is Will Kemp, that's the ballerina, with Val Kilmer and Christian Slater. Again, it's all been done in Europe, meant to look like America. I think it's some of that's been seen through from the start to the very end. I think Rennie's made a really good, strong film. It's been lost to the test of time. Hasn't seen a Blu-ray release here in the UK. I would buy that straight away when it came out. But again, we're in an era where films like this at that time have slipped through, and either they're getting dumped out on Blu-ray or they're just poof gone, like literally. I would say I would buy that straight away, but it's just one of those things. Well, I've been Stephen Monkey Mason. I will be back tomorrow in my lifetime for Batman and Robin with the rest of the guys. If you get a chance to see Mindhunters, hopefully you've seen it before you listen to my commentary track. But I absolutely love this film, and I think it's something that needs to be rediscovered. But obviously now, when Netflix having a film called that as well, it's going to get lost in the shuffle. But for now, thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.